Welcome to Studio D. We are glad that you are here. We are here today with Nick O'Connor and going to be talking with him about his new and upcoming album. And before we do so, we want to thank Doug Faria for inviting us to his wonderful, beautiful studio here in the wonderful city of Denver. And so that's where we are today. And right now I want to introduce to you all Nick O'Connor. Nick, welcome to this interview.
Thanks, Jason. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Hey, listen, so it's been a long time since we caught up. Tell us what's been going on in your life.
What's been going on in my life? That's a good question. Well, we've been in the studio pretty intensely, and we finished recording the project, and now it's being mixed. Once we get the mixes, we're going to master it, and then it'll be ready to be mastered. Nice.
Yeah. Previous album was entitled The Pink Lady.
Lady in Pink.
Yeah. Lady in Pink, that's right. So going back, what would you say is different about this album as you move into the recording of it? What would you say is different from your previous album?
Well, the previous album was definitely a band record. You know, I had a band together. I actually fought to have the band on the record. The producer I was working with didn't want the band on the record, and I really wanted that to be a band record. And this album, I just got sick of having a band, so I basically they either quit or I fired them, and I decided I was just gonna have my best friends or my producer, the guy that produced it, John Macy, his friends on it, and just make the best record I could.
Nice. So, what are some of the sweet? What was the first song you wrote for this new album?
First song I wrote was American Tail.
And tell us a little bit about that. What was that about?
That's about a veteran that I met in downtown Denver. I actually met him while I was recording Lady in Pink. I was playing a gig, I forget where, but it was in downtown Denver, and it was the coldest night that Denver had seen in a long time, like 100 years or something, and he was out in the cold. He was homeless. He had one arm, and he chose to be homeless because he couldn't see himself being any other way. He couldn't see himself being in society, and that sparked something inside of me. I couldn't stop thinking about him, so I wrote a song about him. Yeah.
So you write songs primarily, would you say, based on relationships?
Yeah, sure. Relationships between all kinds of different things, not just me and human beings, me and God, me and nature, me and, anything, really.
Yeah. Tell us about what that means for you when you say your relationship with God, with your relationship with nature. Do you have songs in the new album that kind of speak to that?
Yeah. God is a big influence on the new record. You wouldn't think it. It's going to have one of those little warning things on it, for language or whatever, But God is a huge influence on what I do, and it's taken me a long time to be at peace with God. It's taken me, and it's gone in spurts, kind of. I'll be okay with God, and then I'll just totally rebel or something, or just like, and I think that's everybody's journey. I don't think it's just mine. Mm-hmm. But this album is kind of like a series of comebacks, I think. It's kind of like, I feel like this album is my comeback. I went through a lot the last 3 years, just with health problems, mental health problems. I would say insane, danced with insanity. And, it's just, that's the story of this record, that was American Tail, I think that's why I really related with that guy, because, I didn't understand the PTSD asides, but I understood that whole dancing with insanity kind of thing,
You at one time have told me outside of this, here today, about how this record for you has been a step out of the ashes.
Yeah.
Can you describe, like, what, every great album has come from coming out of the ashes.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to hear what's going to be on this new album. I've had the chance to hear one song, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
What, as a writer,
Mm-hmm.
as a songwriter, which there are so few songwriter and performers these days. As a songwriter, what was your experience that brought you to the writing of this album, if you dare venture there?
The experience, was, I guess I was at a wedding this weekend, and someone asked me, like, what drives you to write music, or what inspires you, and I said the wrong answer, I said God and all his creations, and I wish I had an and at the end of that. It was and the fire that's inside of me. The fire inspires me. There's this fire inside of me that I'll try to explain, but it's really hard to explain. And sometimes it seems like this fire inside of me is either raging, or it's just like a tiny little flame that I'm just trying to keep alive, like just like doing my best to keep alive. It's never like just there, I've tried to make it just there, and it's never just there.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you feed that? What does that look like?
How do I feed that? Not well. Not well, like, I obviously don't feed it well, because I'll try to make it just a little, it's like it'll be raging, and I'll try to like feed it less, and it'll all of a sudden be little, and then I'll feed it more, and all of a sudden it'll be huge.
When are you inspired, though? When does writing happen? When does a song come out? What is it? Raging? Is it little? Is it both?
Raging.
Is it everywhere?
Has to be raging. If it's little, it does not come out.
It's forced?
Yeah, I have to force it if it's raging, or if it's little, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So take us to the songwriting. Paint a picture for us.
Yeah.
Of what songwriting for this album looked like.
I couldn't. It was like so painful. Things were so painful that I had to get it out. Like, I had to write about it. It
just came from within.
Yeah, whether it was about me, or whether it was about my neighbor, whether it was about the guy walking down the street, whether it was about the fucking mailman.
Mm-hmm.
It was so painful that I had to write about it.
What was the song that became the first song that maybe inspired what eventually has become now an album?
Oh, wow. You know, I mean, I wrote so many songs. I probably have 50 songs for this record, you know, or more, you know, and I picked the best, you know, I picked the best 20, and then I picked the best 10, and then I picked the best 50, you know, I went through a whole process. And I think the best song, I think the best song on the record is I Will Fly Away. It's a song about everything that I've gone through and more, you know, and at the end, you know, at the end of the day, it's just saying, with this, I'm gonna fly away. Like, I'm not gonna be in this forever.
What are some of the lyrics?
This is the addiction part. This broken glass ain't too far below me. I can't forsake it without, sorry, let me try that again. We're gonna edit that part. This broken glass ain't too far below me. Let me try it again. This tequila's kicking in.
This is where it all gets good. This is where it all gets cooler.
Right, yeah. This broken glass ain't too far below me. I can't escape it without forsaking it. For I know I too soon must be shattered. I guess I'll know when it's time to quit.
And that's speaking into
many things, but like what I was thinking about when I wrote that was addiction. You know.
So now that you've opened that door, tell us I mean, you know, there's so many things to be addicted to.
Right. Yeah.
What's been your addiction, you know, that breaks you?
You know, there's all kinds of addictions, like you said. I think my biggest one is just plain running away, you know, and that's an addiction. Using whatever you can to run away, whether that be drugs, alcohol, you know, women, whatever, you know, using whatever you can to just run away. And at the end of the day, you can't run away, you know.
What are you running away from?
That's a good question. You're running away from the bad moon rising, you know.
You see trouble up ahead?
Yeah. You know, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bad Moon Rising, you know.
Is it troubles behind or is it troubles up ahead?
For me, it's behind, you know. I try not to look, you know, I try not to run away from what's ahead because I love what's ahead, you know.
What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm looking forward to whatever God has to bring to the table, you know, and that could be anything, you know, that could be fame and fortune, that could be traveling with pennies in my pocket, that could be a family, that could be just being broken down to the point of just starving and being in poverty, you know, and I've never been in poverty, but I've been broken down, you know, and while I was in it, I was like, why the fuck did I ask for this, you know, and I didn't ask for it, but I asked for God's will to be done, and that was God's will, and I don't know why that was God's will, and I know that's going to piss a lot of people off hearing that, you know, but, you know, it's going to piss a lot of people off, you know, but,
what makes God so important to you?
Well, I grew up in a Christian home, and rejected him for years. And he came to me pretty strongly when I was 17.
Oops.
Edit. Or not. We don't have to edit it.
So what makes God important to you?
He came... what was I saying?
Let me ask you this.
Right.
What do you mean by a Christian home?
Being taught the Ten Commandments, which are great things to be taught, I think, growing up. Being taught that God is the way, the truth, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and the light.
So religion was important in your growing up.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it, what is that relationship like that you're talking about when it comes to God and destiny, or God and songwriting? What does that look like for you?
Right. What does it look like for me? That's a good question, because I had to find that for myself. I couldn't just, like everybody has to find it for themselves. What I saw first in the spiritual realm of things was the pure evil of things. I didn't see good things first. And that led to me seeing beauty in things, if that makes sense. And that's what I've always seen. I've always seen evil things before I see good things. And people might hear that and say, "Oh, he's just a negative person." But I am a believer in evil. I'm also a believer in good,
Mm-hmm.
Yin and yang, or whatever you want to call it,
Sure. Yeah. Would you what would you categorize yourself? Are you like a Bible thumper? Are you a conservative guy?
Fuck
What
no.
So how do you fit into a box? What?
I don't know, man. If I fit into a box, I fit into a box. If I don't, I don't.
Because I asked a question because there is this, there's a Christian market for music,
right,
that's out there. Are you a Christian music guy? Are you a pop? What's your category?
Well, I know I wouldn't fit into the Christian music scene because, like we've talked about before, I'm going to have one of those warnings on my album, and
Now, what's the warning for?
Language.
What are we talking about here?
Fuck, pussy. I think there's fucking pussy in my record.
Okay.
I say some stuff about the church that they might not like. Stuff I don't like.
So
about
you don't
church.
fit into the Christian songwriter category. What's your who are your influences?
My influences. Who?
Yeah. You mean the Who or who?
No, who? Who are my influences? My influences are anybody who's a true warrior poet. I dig all kinds of people. I mean, Kanye West just released a record today, and I dig him, man. I'm excited. I want to get that record.
Nice.
I think he's fantastic. He's a douchebag, but who gives a shit? I can be a douchebag at times. I wish, I'm just glad that my every move isn't under a pedestal, whatever it's called, tequila.
It's called tequila.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this right now, but if you are just listening in and you're catching us in the in-between, we are here at Studio D Music, And thanks to Doug Furia, or Faria, or Furia, as they say in Texas. We are glad to be here in Studio D. I'm Jason Musso, and I'm here tonight with Nick O'Connor, and we are talking about his new album release, and we're talking about everything and anything. And Nick, I want to ask you right now, what is Nick like outside of music? What do you what's your job? What do you do for fun? What's life like outside of the studio?
Outside of the studio, wow. You know, I really don't do much. I like to hang out with friends. I like dirty humor, like really dirty humor. Fart jokes are hilarious.
Do you have one?
Just fart, and it's really funny, you know. If you were to like just
fart is a
if
joke.
You were to like
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, if you were to like put your ass to the microphone and fart, I would laugh.
Give me a few minutes.
You know, like
just wait for that Mexican food to kick in.
It'd be freaking hilarious. If you were to just put your ass to the microphone and fart, I'd laugh, you know.
It is a joke. It's a great joke.
Yeah. Like you know, let me think of something funny that's happened to me lately. Like, I work with the developmentally disabled as my job, as my day job. And I was telling you guys about this. There's this one person I work with, and they say she doesn't have multiple personality or whatever, but I don't know if she has, but she talks to people in her head, or she talks to herself in third person or whatever. But one time she was walking I was trying to get her in the van. I'm like, come on. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want people to know her name, but I'm like, come on. I'll call her Roberta, you know. Come on, Roberta, get in the van. And she goes, fuck you, you fucking asshole. You be nice to him, Roberta. And she's like talking to herself. Like, first she cusses at me, then she says, you be nice to him. And she's like, you know, that shit just cracks me up.
Yeah.
You know, like shit like that. Like, just, you know, I mean, stuff like, you know, it just cracks me up.
So that's your day job, and,
that's my day job.
You work with developmentally disabled. What got you into that?
I fell into it after high school. You know, I wanted to do something that helped people because I didn't want to work in retail. I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to work in something that helped, a field that helped people that didn't pay enough.
Yeah.
You know.
You like people.
I do like people.
And is it fair to say that people are the most difficult thing for you?
People are the most difficult thing. What do you mean by that? Like, I think I know where you're going with this, and I think you're right. But
well, I've heard your first album.
Yeah. My very first album?
Well, I don't know. What was your first album?
It was an O Combo record.
Okay, I haven't heard that one.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll need to.
Yeah.
Your second album,
right.
then, which was
Lady in Pink.
Lady in Pink. That album was born from probably difficult relationships.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So you love people, and people... what is that about? Is there a connection there? Your love for people, and yet these albums are born out of like the difficulty of relationship with people. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't. What do you want? Maybe we should have me lay down on the couch and put the microphone to me.
We could do that.
I'm laying down on the couch.
Here at Studio D, anything is possible. We actually do have a couch right next to us.
We do have a couch, yeah.
And cigar shops close by, too, and
right.
great Mexican food.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be. So getting back to the fun side of you, right. You like hanging out with friends.
Right.
You've got a day job, and it's very people oriented. What does life look like? What are the places you like to hang out at here in Denver? Or
in Denver.
I know you recently took a trip to Portland.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon.
Tell us about that.
That was a really fun trip. I just decided to go to Portland to visit my best friend who just moved out there, and I had a blast. You know, just went to breweries and drank a lot and drank more, and played an open mic, and it went really well. Like, I don't want to diss on Denver, so I'm not going to diss on Denver, but Portland was awesome. People paid attention at the open mic, and it was just great. I don't know what else to say. It was, it has its dysfunctions like every city has, but
not so much to give a specific plug to any Denver venue, but what are your favorite places to play since you are a residing currently in the city of Denver?
Right. I love your living room.
Yeah.
I really love your living room. Paris on the Platte has been really supportive to me lately. Also, the Walnut Room is fun to play. Swallow Hill, they're open. I've been playing a lot of open mics lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sick of playing music venues. I'm wanting to play more live shows in houses and stuff like that, or art studios, stuff like that, and build an audience that way. I'm kind of sick of the venue thing because people don't really give a shit about people in venues here in Denver. I'd like to play more house shows.
What do they care more about in the venues?
They give a shit about what they're drinking and who they're going to sleep with that night, and
so music isn't the priority.
Right. Yeah.
Is that a flaw on the venue side, or is that just the culture?
Fuck if I know. I really don't know. It's different for every venue, I think. So
yeah. So what's the release going to look like for you? What are your plans as far as for this album? Obviously you're in the stages of artwork and deciding on the title
right
of this album.
Right.
I mean, it's in such a neat place right now. What's the release going to look like? What are your ideas?
There's a lot of ideas just floating around my head. It's just a matter of getting them down and doing it, which I'm not good at. I have some help, which is nice. I'm going to have probably 5 release shows. And the reason I'm doing 5 is because I'm going to do really small venues. And it's probably going to be at people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
And we were thinking maybe right here in Studio D.
Be a great place.
It'd be fun as shit,
Mm-hmm. Maybe at my house.
Maybe at your house? I mean, sure, man. Maybe at my house?
We are here with a local songwriter, local musician, and a good friend of mine who I've known for how long?
3 years.
Maybe 4?
Maybe 4.
Yes, and we met, where did we meet?
Acoustic Music Revival.
A place that once was but no longer is, sadly. So I'm Jason Musso, and I'm here tonight with Nick O'Connor, and we are here to talk about, just to hear from Nick, hear about his music, hear a little bit about who he is, and what's going on as far as being a musician, recording a new album, which we will hear a track from tonight. A little bit later, we will hear a song called Fly Away, right, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah. If you hear that man breathing in the background, it is Mr. Nick O'Connor here at Studio D. He's... Is he breathe in, breathe out? Do we have a bell that maybe we could play in the studio to bring a so that's a nice sound, D.
Oh my God.
Nick O'Connor, play your music. Play your music.
These tired eyes ain't always open. Not every begging light can get through. So when you told me that you loved me, I didn't have any evidence of that truth. These calloused hands ain't always at work. It never feels enough. Discouragement is my engine. Outrage is the fuel of my blood. And I wait out here near my grave with nothing clear. I wait with wear and tear, and I will fly. This broken glass ain't too far below me. I can't escape it without forsaking it. For I know I soon too must be shattered. I'll know when it's time to quit. And I wait for you out here near my grave with nothing clear. With wear and tear, and I will fly away. Oh glory, I will fly away. Tell me how much longer must I grow? Tell me what the hell do I really know? I feel old and my patience growing thin, but under sacrificial grins I begin to show. And I will fly away. Oh glory, I will fly. I will fly away.
So that's Nick. And the title track to his new album, Fly Away, Nick O'Connor. It's been awesome being with you for for as short as this has been. And we certainly want to talk again. It's been good having you.
Thanks, Jason.
Nick, before we go, is there anything you want to say to anybody out there, to a certain someone, whatever? Is there something that you would like to say as you end this interview in this portion of your story?
Just don't let people bring you down. Do what you feel is right, especially as an artist. And listen to what people have to say. But, at the end of the day, opinions are like assholes. We all have them, and they all stink. So,
yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So if I could put it in my own terms, do what you know what to do, the only way you know how to do it, and love it, and keep on doing it.
Yep, that's right.
And don't worry about everything and anything else. Do what you know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Well, Nick, it's been good having you here for this beautiful interview, a time of song, a time of just getting to know you and what you're all about. And hopefully so that Denver and the surrounding cities of Littleton and Aurora and Boulder and Greeley and all of Denver, but even more so maybe like a little bit of the states we call the United States, might get to know you and not just your songs. It's been good having you, Nick.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, well, be on the lookout for Nick's music. It is, where can we find your stuff?
You can download my record for free if you go to www.nickoconnormusic.com. It's O-R at the end of O'Connor. You can also find me on Facebook and MySpace, and you can find me on iTunes as well.
Awesome. And Nick, when do you expect this latest album of yours to be in stores, to be available for purchase?
August or September of 2013.
August or September of 2013. Be on the lookout for Nick O'Connor's new album. You heard the title track tonight, Fly Away, and it has been a very good evening, and we wish you all in our listening audience all the best, and thanks for being with us tonight, and God bless.
And I will fly away. Oh, glory, I will fly